We're officially live, Pia.
Beautiful. Hey, Jackie, how are you today?
Great, awesome. Glad to be back for the second time today.
Excellent,
We're on a
excellent.
roll.
Yes, we are. This is a special Tuesday. We have it every month. We get a double headliner with you, Jackie, so we all appreciate it. Thank you so much. Everyone in the comments, welcome. Excited to see you here. Fox the Kiwi, nice to see you again. Tom, nice to see you. Uh, Excellent. Let's just give everyone a couple minutes here. I see people flowing into the stream.
It's
I'm
awesome to
excited.
see Tom here. Tom has been a wonderful person, even in our community, Pia. He's always pitching for meetings. He's always there, always asking questions. And so
Nice,
thank you for being here, Tom.
nice. And Carl, good afternoon. Thanks for joining. Everyone, let us know where you're joining from. Clarabelle from Puerto Rico. How are
Awesome.
you
Clary, the
today?
second one today. I
Yep,
saw you earlier in the Spanish one as well. You are a star.
beautiful. So let's go over what we're going to do here today. See someone from India. Welcome. Excited. See, we're spanning the whole globe today. I'm in the east side of the U.S. Jackie, you're in South Africa. We have people from India, from Puerto Rico, from all over the world. Really exciting. Let's dig in. Let's start to sort of frame up what we're going to talk about today. People who have joined this workshop in the past might see some of the same content, but what I can promise you is this is a live session. So any questions, any nuance, anything that you want me to sort of dig into and really start to flesh out for you guys, I'm happy to do that. Carl is from Moldova. I believe that's in Europe, if I'm not mistaken, if I get my geography right. Great to see everyone. Let's dig in. I'm going to share my screen. Let's start talking about this workshop. What we're going to do is we're going to go through the marketing fundamentals again, over and over again, forever. That's what we're going to do on these workshops, marketing fundamentals. And let me just talk to you for a second about why we do these workshops. Jackie and I spent the last couple years doing a monthly workshop showing you guys all sorts of different aspects about the tool itself and all sorts of ways where we can implement it. If you're a team of one, we have a workshop. So if you're, the central marketing person in whatever business that you work in, we have a workshop to show you how you can use Builderall to optimize your workflow. If you run your agency, we have many, many different workshops, all relating to agencies. We have my personal favorite was that marketing machine workshop we did together, Jackie. I believe it was like November last year.
Yeah.
And we set up this gigantic flow. It had like 28 or 29 different steps and tags, and it was all automated. And it was one of those beautiful things where you set it up once and it just clicks. The same questions kept coming back up every single time. And the questions themselves showed that there's sort of a need to talk about the marketing basics, the fundamentals, the why behind what we're doing, right? We can show you how to click the buttons till kingdom come, but what we want to show you is why we do it, so that you guys can know and understand what it is, what it is that's actually happening with customers, how they're flowing in, why they're flowing in, how to bring them to the next step, and how to actually make them convert. So that's what all of these sessions are about. We're going to go through the marketing fundamentals. Some of this content you might have seen before if you've seen this workshop in previous sessions, but we're going to unpack a lot of different nuances. So stick around. Any
Yeah.
questions that you may have, ask away in the comments. All right. If you don't ask, you'll never get the answer. And I'm personally a big believer in the fact that there are no stupid questions. But if you don't ask the questions, you just stay ignorant. So we don't
And
want
Pierre,
that.
I want to just jump in here quickly before you get started. And I want to raise a question with you that I would love if you could answer it at the end of our presentation
All right.
and not in the beginning, because there
Okay.
is a reason, obviously, for it to being at the end. And that question is, we are living in an age, and it almost sounds like I'm an AI writing content, because that's how they always start. We're living
Mhm.
in an age where things, marketing is changing. All right.
Mhm.
We can give people the important things of what a website should look like we do in our Tuesday trainings or Tuesday sessions.
Yep.
Um, that never changes. I mean,
Mhm.
the way people act and the way they feel when they are on your website and the mindset that they need to be in, that never changes.
Right.
But marketing as a whole is changing. The
Mhm.
way that people are perceiving marketing online. You
Mhm.
built this business, your website's up and running, you've got the best content, the website is great, you've got all of those things in place. What
Yep.
is the next step? So that is a question I think that a lot of people has got on their minds, and a lot of people has been asking me in the last few weeks, saying,
Mhm.
"Jackie, the platform is fantastic.
Yep.
I can build incredible pages, but I do not know how to market my business." So if you could touch on something like that at the end of our session, that would be so awesome.
Mm. Beautiful. Great question. I actually think instead of answering it at the end, I think I'm going to use this question throughout the whole workshop. And we
Perfect.
can actually open up that question. Clarabelle, I see your question. We can come back to it. It's a great question. I'll take it at the end. All right. So let's dig in here. Let's talk about effective strategies. A lot of times you're going to hear the term like strategy in the marketing industry, and it doesn't actually refer to the strategy at all. A lot of times you're going to hear it in the content, in the context of use this strategy to, to increase leads or to get more XYZ. It's the wrong way to approach it. What those people are talking about is something we call tactics. A tactic is something that you do sort of on a practical level on the ground to produce a result that's really short term. The strategy is the overall idea or guiding principle for all of your different marketing tactics that you're going to use to bring in your leads, to make more sales, whatever it is, that marketing objective. That makes sense. So I want to start by focusing on the fact that there exists that overarching idea and that overarching guiding principle that should be there for all of your marketing activity, and that's what's called strategy. All right. So I don't want you guys to think of it like, oh, marketing is something that's really practical, and I just go in and I click these buttons and suddenly magic happens, right? We want to teach you why we're doing it so that you can adapt that marketing strategy and make it fit whatever changes happen to the marketing industry as a whole. So if you understand strategy, whatever happens in terms of AI, in terms of paid ads, in terms of like this new trend, this new social media platform, this new Google, algorithm change, whatever it is, you'll be able to figure out how to adapt to it because you know what it's supposed to be doing. Okay. And we're going to break this all the way down to the hands-on, the practical level. Let's dig in and go through. I love the questions that are flooding in. So I love this. Let's talk about the basics. What does marketing mean? Marketing is creating and communicating and delivering value to your customer. This value can be a product or a service or an idea or a message. You see this happen all the time in politics, right? They have marketing campaigns. They're selling you value, which is an idea. They want you to do something in return. Go vote, for example. All right. That's something that's not business related, but it's the same foundation. Okay. They want to communicate a problem to you and tell you that they're there to solve this problem, and they're going to tell you how they're going to solve it, and you in turn are going to go in and you're going to vote. Okay? The same thing happens in business. As marketers, we communicate the value, we tell people what we're about, what problems we solve, and what we want is your vote in terms of dollar bills. Okay? The more value you can promote or you can show, the more money you can ask for. Right? Pretty simple. So we'll talk about these 4 Ps here in a second, but I want to talk about the difference between marketing, advertising, and branding. Okay? Marketing is that strategy. We have the overall guiding principle, what we're going to do, how we're going to promote, what we're going to say. Advertising is specifically the channels that we're going to use, the messaging on those channels, what we're going to say, what it's going to look like, what the, is it going to be a video? All of those details go into advertising. Branding is creating that recognizable identity on all of these channels. So all of your marketing, all of your advertising should look like you as a brand, as a company, right? All the tone of voice should sound like you, right? If someone calls into your company, the way you answer the phone or what you sound like, how you help people should fit your brand. I'll give you guys an example. If you call, let's say, a pet food company that has a really playful brand, you want them to be personable. You want them to be playful on the phone, right? If you call an investment banking business that you invest several $100,000 with, for example, the last thing you want is for them to be playing around on the phone. We're not here to play. We're here talking about a lot of money. So you want them to be serious. You want them to be direct. You want them to be professional. All of those fall into the world of branding. What you look like, what you sound like, how people, envision that personality that you have. All right. A lot of people get confused what branding is. Is it just a logo? No, it's not just a logo. It's not just a visual identity, but the visual identity is part of it, right? So imagine you yourself, you have your own personality that's also recognized by like what you look like when you leave your house, right? If you're this fun-loving person and you go out in suits all the time, something doesn't match, right? Or if you're out there in like baseball caps and you look super casual, but when people talk to you, you're as serious as a heart attack. There's also like this weird thing where it doesn't match. What you want is what you look like and what you sound like and the interaction people have to all sort of line up together. All right, cool. Again, if anything is confusing, guys, drop a comment, ask your question. We're going to take those all throughout the session. It's a live Q&A, so make sure to ask all of your questions. Let's talk about the 4 Ps in marketing. This is foundational. I don't know, since 1950s, these are the same. They're going to stay the same because people behave the same. The marketplace is the same. These are sort of like, this is the language of business. This is the language of marketing. And we still use the same words we've been using for hundreds of years, right? Some nuances change, but the words stay the same, right? I want you guys to think of it like this. Oh, are the 4 Ps outdated? I don't know. Is English outdated? It's been around for a while. It's the same thing. Okay, so these are the things that we're going to use to communicate our message. The product, I want you guys to think about what you're offering. If there's a need, if there's a fit in the market, called product market fit, really focus on that first. If the product that you have doesn't serve the market you're in, you're gonna have problems. All right, it's not gonna be good. Now, the answer isn't always to change your product. Sometimes you need to change the market you're in, right? Let's say you're in one industry and there isn't really quite the need for it, but then you discover that there's a need in like the medical space when you were previously trying to push your product in a restaurant industry, right? Suddenly you realize, oh, I have this tool or this product and it can be applied in the medical world and it can solve a real world problem. I'll just transition. Okay, So that's something to just think about. Your price, setting a competitive enough pricing, but being, affordable enough for people to buy it. Or I think more importantly, you want to match the value that you're offering with what your customer is willing to pay. Right. So this is kind of a different concept. Usually what people do is they think of it like a retail environment and they say, okay, these are my costs. I want to make 10% profit. And so they do the math and then they price their product. And that's perfectly fine. You leave a lot of money on the table if you don't consider what the customer is willing to pay. Apple is a perfect example of this. And just a caveat to everyone here, I dislike using Apple as a marketing example just because they've done everything so well and people use them constantly as an example, where I think it's tired. Every single time we want to give a marketing example, we go to Apple and we say, oh, look at what Apple did. Look what Apple did. Not everyone can be a multiple $1 trillion company, right? But there's still value there. Apple, their products, let's say the iPhone costs what, at most like $50, right? 60, I don't know, 100, let's be generous. They sell the phones for $1,000, no problem. People are willing to pay it any day of the week. It's the most popular phone, right? So the amount of money people are willing to spend far exceeds, or can far exceed, what you're asking for. I want you guys to consider that. What are my costs? I can go through the traditional route and look at my competitors and just price accordingly. Or I can ask my customer, hey, what do you think this is worth? Is it worth $50? Is it worth $100? Is it worth $1,000? Is it worth $10,000? Once you find what your customers are willing to pay and you price accordingly, that's likely the most amount of money you're going to make from your products. I'll give you guys a quick example before we move on. A lot of design services sell, let's say, a logo design, or let's say a website design. Website design services, some people sell those for $1,000. Some people sell the same service for $50,000. It's the same service, right? But your target audience is different, or you communicate your value different to different people, and you're able to charge, infinitely more money for effectively the same service, right? And anyone who's been in the agency business knows that a lot of times the lower priced clients are the ones that give you the most problems, or they give you the most trouble, right? So I want you just to consider how the pricing affects the target audience and affects your interaction with people. Does it place you as a luxury brand? What are people willing to give back and forth with you? All of those sort of play into the psychology of the audience once pricing is involved. I'll move on. If you guys have any questions, ask them on the pricing. We can get into pricing strategies and talk about it for days. So I'll wrap it up here. Place refers to the actual location, physical or virtual, that you're actually selling the product. Think about your e-commerce. Your e-commerce brand can either live on your own website, or it can live on Amazon, for example, or it can live on Etsy, right? I just gave you 3 examples. They're 3 entirely different implementations, right? If you're on Etsy, the target audience that you're going to speak to is completely different than the target audience you're going to find on Amazon. And if you have your own website, communicating that website, having people go to your own website and purchase products from your website is actually completely different. And the proof of that is a lot of brands have their own website, but they also choose to place their products on Amazon, for example, because they don't have to spend as much money advertising. They don't have to spend money bringing people into their own website. They don't have to fulfill it. So they can just, ship their products to Amazon, have Amazon handle the whole thing, and they just get paid. That's, it's a perfectly reasonable example to give. Think about your e-commerce brand being found on Amazon and having their own website. That starts to give us an example or an idea of how that place affects our marketing strategy. And then finally, promotion. This is how I'm going to communicate my brand, my values, what do I offer? What problems do I solve? All of those go into this promotion. This also involves where, right? Am I going to be on Google? Am I going to be on Facebook? Am I going to run radio ads? Do I want billboards? Am I going to mail flyers in the mail? All of those fall into this concept of promotion. You want all of these to sort of play nice together, right? You're the master of the orchestra. Everything needs to play together really nicely, and we can go through and kind of talk about how that play happens. All right, Clarabelle, I see a question. Pricing is related directly to the perceived value of the product or service clients will get. Amen. Amen, amen, amen. Absolutely. This modern relevance, a lot of people think, oh, it's not really relevant today. Or they add the 5th P. A lot of times they say people, your target audience. I think that's perfectly valid. Again, this is the language of marketing. So I want you guys to really think about it as the concept, the grammar. This is your vocabulary, right? And as marketers. So moving through, marketing is no longer about the stuff you make, but about the stories you tell. This slide is going to stay in this deck forever. All right. If you don't tell the story of your business, of the problems you solve, of why you exist, people just don't get it. They don't care. Right. I think gone are the days where you can just create a product, put it on a shelf, say nothing about it. People will find you in a big grocery store and purchase your product. Right. Every single thing needs to be communicated. You need to find value or create value as marketers to the right person. I'll try to find this. I'll try to find this guy on YouTube. It's a graphic designer, and he takes products that we know, like Pepsi, for example, and he rebrands the packaging in 5 different ways, and it's so creative. And he tells you the story of like what he's doing, what the concept is behind it. It's insanely eye-opening to see what the package design does to the story that you tell. He rebranded the Pepsi can to be a sports drink, a fitness drink, just a hydration. He did like 5 different ways and had the packaging reflected. It was really cool to see, like a really real live example of how it changes our perception. Obviously, back to this, the target audience. No, I want everyone to know that unless you truly become familiar with your target audience, your marketing is going to miss every single time. You need to know these people like they're your friends, like they're your cousins, like they're, I don't know, someone you have a grudge on, you're trying to get back at. You need to understand who these people are on maybe like the deepest level possible. All right. In a lot of ways, people talk about marketing like we take psychology and we apply it, right? It's applied psychology. I want you guys to break open who this target audience is, what they like, what they dislike, their tendencies, what they could be interested in. You need to know these people like they're your spouse or your partner. You need to know them, and you need to understand what they might respond or how they might respond to your messaging before you put it out. All right. For people in the audience who have been in very long-term relationships, you start to get a sense of what that person is going to say, how they're going to react. Immediately, if you see something they're not going to like, you say, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think this is it. Let's try this other way. That's the level of familiarity you need to get with your own target audience. So the way you do that is by creating a persona. Give them a name, give them a face, give them a story. What do you like to do on the weekend? Do you like gardening? Do you like to go to the club? Do you like fast cars? Do you like to stay at home and play video games? What do you like to do in your life? What do you tend to? You need to understand these people like better than they understand themselves. All right. The way you do that, again, you write it down, define that audience. Pros, cons, what do they like? What do they do? All of those things. And more importantly, how do they purchase? All right. Because everything before then is a wonderful exercise, but it's still kind of in the mind. You write it down. It's not practical. The buying behavior piece opens up that relationship with marketing. How do I connect with them as a business and actually show them my product in a time and place, in a message, in a way of delivery that will make them take the next step, make them go vote, make them give me their money, sign a petition, take a test drive, whatever it is that I'm trying to do. That's the point that you need to understand. All right. Some people need a pushy salesperson. All right. Do they like it? No, but they need it. Right. And that's the level that you might get to. Right. I know my target audience dislikes having pushy salespeople, but without it, I make 0 sales. And with pushy salespeople, I make all the sales in the universe. All right. It doesn't sound great, but it is what it is, right? It's what the data is telling you. It's reflective of their buying behavior. So you need to use it as marketers. All right. I'm sure we have a bunch of questions here. I'm going to skip over. And let's start digging into this promotions P from the 4 Ps: product, place, price, promotion. Let's talk about this promotion. We can use different channels to promote the business we're in. Let's talk about the digital piece, because let's face it, that's where the world is, right? The traditional, so to speak, marketing channels are known, right? They're pretty straightforward. TV, radio, outdoor billboards, publications that printables like your direct mail, your flyers, your magazines, your newspapers. I don't know anyone who still uses those really reliably, but they're there. Not to say that they're not still valid. They could be valid. And a lot of times, depending on your own target audience, your own business, they might be the better option. All right. I'll give you an example. If I'm targeting an audience that is not online, they just don't use the internet. Me doing all this work is sort of silly, right? If they're still really super old-fashioned and they are still subscribed to their local newspaper, as a marketer, you need to be in that newspaper. That's where your target audience is. You get in that newspaper. I don't care if you don't read the newspaper. You're not your target audience. So just keep that in mind. A lot of times, we compare it to ourselves and we make this mistake. Well, I don't watch TV, and so my target audience must not watch TV either. Are you your own target audience? A lot of times the answer is no, but we apply the standard of what we do, right? If you spend 9 hours a day on Instagram and suddenly you think that all of your advertising efforts need to go to Instagram, but your target audience doesn't even have the app, then you're just being silly. Right? So let's talk about these basic channels: website, social media, email, paid ads. I like these together because they create a bubble, right? And the bubble is what we're going to flesh out in this workshop to create this environment. Can people stumble upon my content? Can people discover my content when they go looking? Can I convert them when they come to my spaces, my social media pages, my website, whatever it is? Can I convert them effectively? And what do I do after? And this sort of covers that whole gamut, right? Jackie, feel free to hop in anytime you want. I'm just gonna keep pushing along, but if you have anything to add, please.
No, it's awesome. What you summarized there was just kapoof.
Yeah,
awesome.
And it's really valuable to me for us to think about marketing once we start to think about the strategy piece or the overarching piece, we need to realize that each of these does a specific job. All right. And I'll give you guys an example back to this AI question of how understanding what they're supposed to do makes me bulletproof. Whatever happens to the technology, then I'm just swapping out. Then I'm just changing, the tools that I'm using, but the idea behind it is the same, or the method behind it is the same. I'll give you guys a quick example. My website needs to create a strong presence online. Is it essential? Yes. Are we in a point in time where a business will fail without a website? That's not true anymore, right? You can create a business without a website. You can create a successful funnel without a website. I wouldn't recommend it just because it seems risky to put all your eggs in other people's baskets. But that's a separate business decision. If you're comfortable with that, or if you're not in it for this like long-term brand building, that's totally fine. Social media, everyone's on social media lately. And I think to answer your question here on Jackie, on like what changes are we seeing with AI, for example? I'll change the way I answer this question. We know that we need to be on social media, but the social channel or the social platform is constantly changing. 10 years ago, Facebook was all the rave. Then it was Instagram. Then it was not Instagram. Then it was Snapchat for a minute. And then it was Vine. And then, now we're in TikTok. And, the US banned TikTok. Now they brought it back. So people are kind of unsure. YouTube Shorts is taken off. All of those are social media channels. I can use all of them. But the idea is to be where people can find me organically. And that's what the social media channel does. The specific platform is a detail, right? Am I on TikTok or am I on LinkedIn? That's a detail that I get to figure out based on my target audience. All right. Is that a reasonable way to think about it? So AI, I want you guys to answer the question of like which one of these does AI change? Does it change my website, or does it change my paid ads component? Does it change my organic, like Google organic? And swap whatever channel that was and put in AI and figure out how to optimize your AI for that role. All right. Let's keep pushing through. Email, I think, is incredibly effective, especially today, because you want to capture someone's information and you want to keep that information with you. This person wants to hear from you directly, and email gives you a great way to reconnect with the customer after they make a sale. All right. And your paid ads are a great way to send people who really intend to make a purchase, who are like right there, and they Google something that sounds like, local plumber near me, emergency electrician, you know what I mean? Something of that nature. 50 SPF sunscreen that's good for children. Think about those long tail keywords, and targeting those keywords for paid ads give you a direct idea. Like a person who's searching for 50 SPF sunscreen that's good for children is looking to purchase. They're not there to keep a mental list of all the brands and all the manufacturers out there. They're there to buy. So what you need to do is target those words, target those keywords, create a blog, create that environment and cloud around that word, and start to drive traffic to your website or to your shop, wherever that lives, right? Maybe it's on Instagram and people go to your shop and then they buy. That's a detail. All right. So we talked about this bubble. Is that idea clear? Like, we want something, and we'll go through this content. I think it's here. I'll talk about the side, then we'll go to the funnel. The starter pack that we're giving away with the promo code Marketing 101 will set you up with social media templates, link in bio templates, comment autoresponder, website builder templates, mailing boss template, and booking builder, as well as 30% off every month for 3 months. So this way, if you don't have a Builderall account, you can get started with a rolling start with all of the templates that you need to get started. If you don't use Builderall, it's totally fine. All the information we're giving can be applied to wherever you do your marketing. All right. I'm gonna skip ahead and come back here. I want to show everyone this channel, this slide. Talk about the funnel: awareness, interest, desire, action. The AIDA principle. I've said it a million times. I'm gonna say it 1,000,010. This is the psychological process people go through whenever they make a decision, whatever decision it is, and especially a marketing decision or a purchasing decision. People go through this channel, all right, or this funnel, excuse me. They start at awareness, so they become aware. Then they become interested. Then they desire either to solve their problem or they desire your product because they believe it'll solve their problem. And then they take action. You need these 4 steps, and you need them in this sequence. All right. If you try to make the sale too early, people lose interest, right? If you if you create your website and it has beautiful graphics and compelling headlines, but people don't know about it, and you skip this awareness stage, then no one's going to know about it, and your website's going to have no visitors. Step by step, how do I create awareness? How do I pique someone's interest? How do I create desire? And how do I push for action? That is the 4-step process that unlocks marketing for you guys. All right. If you're ever confused about what marketing is, what strategy you need to do, you write down AIDA, AIDA, awareness, interest, desire, action, and you answer those questions step by step. All right. It literally unlocks marketing for you. I've been in marketing for over a decade. I have a degree, I have multiple certifications, I have a psychology degree. It doesn't matter. This is it. I'm telling you what it is. All right. Awareness. How do I drive awareness? How do I create interest? How do I create desire? How do I have people take action? Clarabelle, you asked the question here. I keep seeing businesses built on social media, which scares me. They're giving total control to a channel they don't own. Absolutely. Amen. Yes. There's a double problem here. The double problem here is not only are they giving total control to a channel they don't own, their customers aren't really their customers. All right. The customer who goes in and makes a purchase on Instagram, they're Instagram's customer. They don't know you. They don't know your company. The way you can follow up with them is incredibly minimal. A lot of times it's non-existent. You're just making a transaction. You're not building a business, right? You build a business by creating a repeat flow of customers. There's a principle called the 80-20 rule. 80% of your customers, 80% of your income or your revenue should come from 20% of your customers.
Yeah.
Right?
And the thing is, that's not sustainable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Those guys are not sustainable because they lose the clients that they could have captured right in the beginning,
right,
and resell to them in the future. Right. And it's actually a costly deal. They don't really realize that, but it's so much costly. Even if they don't make use of paid ads, they are spending their time.
Mm. That's right.
And they don't realize that.
So let's actually talk about this example. If you've created your entire business on social media, let's go back here. You created your entire business on social media. Okay. What you can do to alleviate the risks that you're taking is to start to backfill, right? A lot of times people get super motivated and they take action and they put their product on like a TikTok shop, right? And they start making sales. That's perfect. That's what we want, right? So I'm not here saying, oh no, if it makes you money, but it makes the money in the wrong way, then that's a bad thing. No. What you want to do is you want to create a holistic view. Even if you take action really quickly and you start making money, you start making revenue on social media, from social media alone, on a business that you've built solely on social media, what you can do is to start asking for your email, for the customer's email. All right, and you can do that with like an comment autoresponder tool that we offer from Builderall. We can get to how Builderall can support you doing all of those things. But you can look at competitors, ManyChat, and others.
Cool.
I think Builderall is the best place to do it, but obviously this is an incredibly biased platform. So it doesn't matter. What you need to be doing is to be collecting people's phone numbers, their emails, their contact information. Start to drive people to your website after that first deal. I'll give you guys an example. You make a sale online. Let's say you sell swimwear, right? It's summertime. You created some awesome reels. They go viral. People start to buy from your shop, and you're selling swimwear like crazy. All right, from your TikTok shop. Okay, what you can do is reach back out to these people and say, hey, I have a repeat customer promo. If you go in and you use this code on my website directly, I'll give you X% off, or you get this free. I'm doing buy one, get one, whatever it is, whatever type of promo you're doing. Drive people back to that website, and now people have access to your website directly. All right, so that's how you took that business that you built on social media, and now you have access to email marketing, and you send people to your website. So now you're starting to fill in, right? You have a way to repeat business with your users, and you have a way to take customers out of that social media environment and bring them into your own website where you have control. There are cookies. Sometimes they have to create accounts. Sometimes they have to download apps, whatever it is. All right, but now it's your environment. It's not the social media situation, and you're mitigating the risk of, let's say, TikTok getting deleted again and you lose your entire business, for example, right? That way, TikTok gets deleted, you still have customers. You still have your own website. You're diversified. You're on social media in many places. You're on YouTube Shorts, as well as TikTok, as well as Instagram, as well as, I don't know, LinkedIn has everywhere has the Shorts or the Reels format now. So you can diversify that way. All right. So that takes away from the threat that you're very right in identifying, Clarabelle, and it sort of mitigates that risk and it spreads it across. All right. And I think that was a cool question. Thank you for that. All right. Let's talk about the tools here that we have. Builderall offers you all of these tools in a very, very easy to use way. All right. So I want you guys to go in, even if you go in and create a free trial. And here I can share a free trial link, and you guys can go in and create free trials if you don't have accounts, and create it that way. Jackie, I'm gonna toss it over to you while I'm on this other screen. If you wanna just fill the space, because I'm awful at.
Sure. All right. So with regards to our website, and I keep saying it in every single meeting that I'm in, that there is just no other website builder out there that gives you the freedom to design and create something that is super amazing. And besides that part of it, it is super fast, and it has been shown over and over time. I have seen it multiple times, even with my own website. If you've got your Google Analytics installed and your Google Search Console connected, you will clearly see that your website really loads super fast. When you upload images to Builderall, they do suppress the images somehow. But if you even go that far to make sure your images are suppressed and you follow the basic rules that every web developer out there do, you're going to have a super fast website, especially in the times that we are in with regards to mobile. And what makes our website so really, really awesome is that your mobile can look completely different from your desktop. Now, you might be wondering, why would we want to do that? It's because you might have multiple videos or animations or things on your desktop, because people on desktops normally sits in a Wi-Fi environment, but people on mobile don't. So on mobile, you want to hide some of those elements. You don't want the person to get these things to load, and it makes your mobile view a little bit slower. And Google loves a website that loads fast on mobile.
For sure.
So we really have the top of the range when it comes to a website builder that is going to offer you all the important things that you need. And it takes it up a little step further by integrating tools that is all within the same platform.
Mhm.
When you have another platform, you're going to have to go, you'll get your email marketing somewhere. You're going to get your booking app somewhere. You're going to have to get your social auto posting somewhere. And it makes it eventually so heavy, your website, with all of these different kinds of plugins that constantly needs to be updated. With our website builder, you don't have that because everything resides on the same platform and it's talking the same language.
Yeah. So, Jackie, I just shared a link in the chat. This is the free trial page, 14-day free trial -cc. It takes you here. Try it for free if you don't have a Builderall account. But if you do have a Builderall account and you're here, you're golden, and you're all set with that. But we offer so many tools for a lot of times way less than what it would have cost you to get all of those things individually. All right. Now I'll spare everyone the sales pitch. Go in and check it out for yourself. It's gonna change your life. Use the promo code marketing 101. All right. It's a beautifully designed system. All of it works together, and we give you all sorts of add-on tools. What I want to do is answer some questions and talk about this AI question again. We have 10 more minutes here. I want everyone to drop their questions in the comment and answer this question that Jackie dropped in. Tell us, what is your biggest single headache when it comes to your marketing efforts? And we can unlock it right now, maybe. So that'll be a cool thing that we can do. What I want to talk about in terms of this AI is what I think AI is changing. Okay, so our AI tools that are changing right now, especially important for all of the marketers, is this new AI mode in Google. If you guys have seen it, AI mode in Google needs to be figured out by everyone here in the marketing industry as fast as possible, because what it does and what it changes is it a lot of times eliminates people visiting your website.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you need to do is figure out how to get customers to engage with your website and how to get AI to engage with your website. Because a lot of times AI gives that link, and that hyperlink drives users to your website. You need to figure out how to do that in your industry. Okay.
Can I say something, Pierre?
Go for it.
When you speak about the AI mode, and I've tested my own theories about this in the last 2 months, because I mean, I was one of those that got shocked. Sure. And traffic just disappeared overnight kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I realized that there's only one question you need to ask yourself, and that is, what can I create that AI cannot create? AI cannot tell your story. It cannot tell your story. So if you can create a story of a super original content that AI cannot use as a general answer, you are good to go, because they just need something different than the general answer that everybody is giving. Because obviously it sends out these little bots, and I always call it bots or whatever they want to call it, and it collects all the information from the internet. But what if it gets to your site, speaking about the same thing, but from a different point of view, with different type of content that's valuable, and you've got Google reviews connected to it? I think it's all about creating different kinds of content that is valuable and that AI cannot create by just asking a question. Yeah. And since I've been doing that, it feels like it's kind of picking up the pieces out of the content and still bring it up in the search, where in the past it wasn't even there.
Right.
Because you are taking it from a different angle. instead of the normal kind of thing. I mean, let's give you an example. Let's talk about a funnel, the normal funnel that we see on our slide. What if you start talking about reverse engineering the funnel?
Mm-hmm.
It's a different topic. It's a different thing to talk about. Why would you do that?
Right.
So it's just to try and generate content that is completely different, that is not the norm, and then use that same content that you've used for Google and use it across all your other social channels so that they can get the signal that this is a brand that is serious about this specific topic.
I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go off script here because I love what you're saying. So in the past, so let's give an example. Let's give an example. In the past, let's say you sell hummus. Okay, hummus, Middle Eastern chickpea paste.
Awesome. I love it.
Being Lebanese, I think if you do a blood test for me, it comes out like 23% hummus. What you want to do? Let's say you sell it, right? I sell hummus for a living, right? My company, that's what it does. That's what we do. You can either create content for people to buy your hummus, or you can create content about all of the things around it. What to eat hummus with.
Awesome.
What, when, or how to.
And while you are typing that out, I just want to mention this. It's very similar to when you write a blog post, and they call it a pillar post.
Yeah.
So you've got your main topic, and then you start branching out to every single thing about that specific area, whether it's recipes, the health benefits, the color of it, when it's toxic, when you take it out of your fridge, why it should not be in your fridge, what's the type of ingredients, where can you find the ingredients. We can go endless. You can go so deep into these questions. And if you go to Google and you type in a few at the beginning, the first 3 sentences, like what is hummus, or how to eat hummus, it will show you a list of all the different things that people are actually searching for. You don't even have to pay for a paid keyword research tool. You can just go and search it on Google. And then you use those long tail keywords to create these awesome content for your website.
So as a quick example here, so from this one idea, you want to sell hummus, that's fine, that's great. You want to create an environment around what you're trying to do. And this works for organic, as well as AI, as well as just people in general. Let's say you have a YouTube channel and you want to create all sorts of shorts on YouTube to drive sales back to your website. Create content about all of these things. Become the reference. Become the point where all the people come in and they know that you talk about
true authority. The true authority.
Right. And then from here, if you want to be a real authority, then you talk about other related topics. Like you also sell tabbouleh, which is Middle Eastern Lebanese salad made with like 95% parsley. So if you don't like parsley, it's not for you. You can sell this now, and now you can have the same bubble for this new topic. And that's
the reason why Google and channels love these type of things is because big companies do not go for these small topics. They go for the main topic. I sell hummus. And they spent millions of paid advertising, but most of the time it's these long tail keywords like what are the different flavors of hummus that brings the people to your website. And then they get to see I sell hummus on the same page.
Yes. So like the different flavors, for example, like why is someone asking? Is someone asking just to keep a mental list, or are they maybe interested in trying? And so that's how you can get people to actually get into your website organically and engage with your website. There are a couple of questions. B2B marketing. Same thing here. You want to create an air of expertise around the industry you're in. All right. Answer all of the questions that your customers are asking on your social media, on your website, wherever. You need to engage and show people that not only do you understand their problem, you also understand the solution. All right. And once you cover those things, people come to you. All right. And your calendar books up and the sale becomes pretty easy. Whereas if you're just cold calling as B2B or cold emailing, just, it's going to be a huge effort, especially like because email isn't supposed to drive awareness, right? So that's what we think here. Email is supposed to drive action or desire, right? You can nurture a customer from interest to desire with email. You can't make them aware of your product, not effectively, at least with email. Okay. I hope that answers your question. There wasn't much context, but if you want to dig in, India, just go for it. Okay.
And Clarabelle is asking about when do you get to the point of doing paid ad promotions, and what's the best practices?
Okay.
And I was thinking when I read that question, Clary, I was just thinking before I would even go for paid ad promotions, I will go and create my site and set it up for A/B testing to test it first, even with a bunch of friends of yours, and to see which resonates. I mean, create a group of people, let's say 50 people that you know. Let them go through your system and make sure everything is working fine before you even consider paid advertising.
Absolutely.
And then make sure that you set up different varieties in paid advertising as well.
Once you make sure that everything is working properly and you're comfortable, I'm gonna break down some math here, you guys. Okay, this is actually going to be super exciting, so follow along, please. Okay. This, Clarabelle, I think will not only answer your question, I think it'll answer your question very effectively. How frequently should I advertise to get results? What are the results you're after?
I almost wanted to say, how much money do you want to make?
Yeah, that's actually almost exactly the right question. What results are we after, right? So let's break that down. What results are you after? Are you looking? So I'm gonna assume a couple things, Clarabelle, but please, you know the drill. Type it in, and we can update. Let's say I want one new client every month for my agency. Okay.
And now again, I was just thinking, now if it's the first time that you're advertising on Facebook, for an example, don't get shocked if you don't get sales in the beginning, because it's normally when a person sees you the second time around, or the ad comes around again. Because remember, with Facebook ads, once you've run through it, you can do a lookalike audience, and it starts showing to the same people that's seen it before, or maybe paused on it or whatever. That is when the real conversions happen. And it actually happened to me many times. I always buy on the third or the fourth time, then start clicking on it, and then I get it back. Because people tend to see it, and maybe at that moment they don't have time, and they might click and then go out, and then later the ad comes along. So just remember, the first time that you do Facebook ads, you don't necessarily going to see huge conversions.
So that's actually a great thing to keep in mind. Let me give you a sneak peek on the psychology behind it. 3 exposures, 3, not 1, not 2, 3 as an absolute minimum. All right. 3 interactions or 3 exposures on a psychology level take something from our short-term working memory, and our brain sends it to our long-term memory, so I can remember it. Long-term recall, it's called. I'll give you guys a question. Give me 3 names of toothpaste brands. You're going to name Colgate, Crest, Sensodyne. All right. When you go to the store, there's about 50 different brands that you can pick from. You remember these 3 because you've been exposed to them the most.
Yeah.
So that takes that short-term memory and sends it to long-term memory by exposure. So we measure in frequency and impressions. Those are the metrics that you want to look at on your actual paid ads. So your frequency, your impressions, and reach, those reflect different things. Impressions is just how many times the ad was served. Reach is how many individual people saw these ads. And from those 2, you can figure out what the frequency of exposure is. And the higher your frequency, the more conversions you're going to get. It's almost like a scientific math problem. It's not a math problem, but it's almost a math problem. It's marketing math, okay, which is close enough. What is your conversion rate on your website or on, whatever channel it is that you use? What is that conversion rate? Let's say my conversion rate is 10%. 10% is high. My conversion rate percentage is 10%. That means every time 100 people come in, 10 people convert. All right? Okay. How much money does it take, all right, to get 100 users to come in? All right, let's say you run ads on LinkedIn and they're sort of expensive. So let's say it costs you $2 a person. Okay. For example, here, let's do italicize these. Okay. It costs me $2. And I'm trying to keep this as clean as possible. Usually what this math ends up looking like is, my conversion rate is 3%, and I need 4,000 customers to come in to get to my number. And so you just need to do the math. I'm just making it simple here. It costs me $2 per click. Okay. This is the example. Based off of that, how much money do I need to spend to reach my desired target? That's my question, right? Let's do some math, you guys. Who's excited? Clarabelle, are you a good math person? Maybe you can do this math for us and leave it in the chat. Okay, in this example, let's whip out our calculator here. All right, let's see. $2 a click. I need 100 clicks, right? Because 100 users need to come in at $2 a pop. So it's going to cost me $200 to get 10 users to convert, right? To get 100 users into my site. And so let's write that down. $200 will get me 100 users, and 10 of them will convert to Let's just leave that. All right. So that's my answer. So that's, you need to spend until you make these numbers make sense. And that's how you can grow with paid ads. All right. Now, again, typically it's not this cut and dry. Spend $2 a click, get 100 users, 10 of them convert, and we're golden. If that was the case, everyone would
Yes.
be in marketing and everyone would basically be printing money. But you need to
And it's
figure out
always,
what it looks like. Yeah.
yeah, and it's always start very, very small amounts. And I'm not talking about Facebook ads because that's where I got my experience. Doing very small amounts in the beginning and test different kinds of creatives with different kinds of headlines. Facebook will show you which are the winning one.
Yeah.
And keep going until you've got the winning creative.
Clarabelle, if your major is in accounting, then you're in luck. We just broke it down. You're about to get a lot more clients. This is basically the answer. This is what confuses people a lot of times about paid ads, is because it ends up looking a lot different than they expected to. All right. And so, like in this example that we did, everyone will spend this $200, right? This $200 is an actual no-brainer. All right. If I were to be like fully honest with everyone, I would change the numbers big time. I do the math on like if my conversion rate, realistically, if let's say the conversion rate is like 0.7%, and I need, let's say, 1,000 customers, right? If I want, well, let's say I need 1,000. Let's do 1,000 customers. Conversions. All right. How much money do I need to spend knowing that my cost per click is, let's say, 7 cents or something like that? All right. So this is homework for everyone. Okay, I'll see you next week. No, I'm joking. But this is something more realistic. All right, and this will be the question you're gonna get from management. All right, or from your bosses, even if that boss is you, is how can I get the most conversions for the least amount of money? And that's where conversion rate optimization comes in, where you need to make that website convert at a higher rate than a 0.7%, or you need to make to optimize the path where people are, how people are converting. You need to optimize where people are finding you. Are you driving the right traffic? Is it in the right channel? Is it too expensive? Is it, can you combine multiple paid strategies and some organic strategies together to drop your acquisition cost? All of those questions come in here. But effectively, what you're looking for is to answer this question: how much money do I need? Let's rephrase it. What is the least amount of money do I need to spend to generate the most conversion possible? And you need to, this is where This is where the
But
magic.
I think what people also need to understand is that you get different kinds of conversions. If you have got a great funnel, and I'm really meaning when the person clicks and land onto your website, and you can capture that email address and send him through a funnel. To give you now a simple example, something that happened to me in the past. I clicked on an ad that was on Facebook. It says, "Win an all expenses paid trip." By starting an online business, we show you everything. The moment I clicked on it and I went to the website, there was a video, and it was mind-blowing. The video was showing previous people that has won the trip. Obviously, I gave my details because I wanted to get the information. Now, if you've got a great funnel, there's different kinds of conversions. You might not have a conversion straight for a sale, but it is to capture the person's email. So that is also a conversion.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people don't understand that there's different types of conversions on Facebook that you need to choose. It's not always to make a physical sale immediately.
That's absolutely right. If you guys want to dig into all of this, I'll be happy to. Obviously we've gone over time. I'll be happy to spend an entire workshop talking about this too. But Jackie, you're exactly right. Throughout the process, you have smaller conversions that tell you, okay, this person came in from my ad and they didn't buy, but they just gave me their lead information. All right. So now the process starts over one more time on email, for example, trying to get that person from getting on my list to converting from my email. And that becomes its own process that's similar to this. What do I need to say? What am I offering? Is it the right thing? Is it the right timing? Yada 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 yada, to get the most people to convert from my email list. But simply put, if you guys want to do this math, you can. If you guys want me to do it, I can. I don't know. What do you think, Jackie? Are you good at math?
No.
All right. You can just ask.
You can't put a person that's creative or a technical person next to math. It just doesn't work.
Well, you can ask ChatGPT, everyone, and it will solve your problem. But if you want to truly understand it, I highly suggest that people kind of figure out what this looks like for their business. And Clarabelle, that answers your question. I hope that did that successfully. All right. I think it did. But yeah, so here we are. Again, perfect. One last time, the starter pack you can get by using promo code marketing101 on any plan, any Builderall plan. Get in there, you'll get all of these goodies as well as 30% off every month for 3 months if you haven't started your Builderall account yet. If you are looking for a free trial, this is our link. Go there, start a free trial, 14 days, play around, explore, do your best. Any questions whatsoever, drop them either in the comments here. Join us Mondays at 10 a.m. Eastern. Jackie has a Facebook group that you can actually get in and be on the call with Jackie, or you can join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern for our Template Tuesday. We're all over. We're live most of the time, so you can always find us. And if you need support with the platform, it's available at basically any time. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. This has been an awesome session. I hope not everyone is sick of hearing me. I'm sick of hearing me, if I'm honest with you guys.
No.
Jackie, it's great having you on these calls.
It's awesome. Great. All right, guys, we'll see you again. Don't forget, we've got this session happening every single month. And I have to say, from the previous 3 that we had, every time is different. It's always new discussions, new things. So don't think that, I've seen it, I've done it. That's not the case. You might see small bits and pieces that's the same, but not all of them. So that's all from us. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And wherever you're in the world, we're having a wonderful evening. Is that the way you say it? Yes. Perfect. All right. Have a good day, guys. Bye. There we go.